There's one thing that every climber on the planet has in common. We all warm up. Whether you're the kind of person that just jumps on the wall and starts at easy climbs and works your way up, or you're the kind of person that hits every single muscle group possible before you step on the wall. There are tons of ways to warm up, and it can be a little overwhelming. But the main thing we all want as climbers is to have a warm up that reduces our risk of injury during our session and prepares us for high performance on the wall. My name's Maddie, and I'm going to take you through a warm up routine that will get you from walking into the gym freezing cold to sending your project. We're gonna go ahead and start with some cardio. I like to spend 30 seconds to 1 minute just getting your blood pumping throughout your body. This will make it a lot faster for the blood to get to your tendons and muscles, and it'll get you warmer faster. I like to do jumping jacks, but if there's a skipping rope, definitely grab one of those, or if you have stationary bikes at your gym, do whatever you'd like to do in order to get your heart rate a little bit higher so that you can get into your warm-up faster. Next, we're gonna get our joints moving, and we're gonna do some head circles. So it's important when you're doing head circles not to do your circles backwards, because that could strain your neck. So you only want to circle forward, down, and to the side. Next, we're going to do some wrist circles, clockwise and counterclockwise, both wrists at the same time, about 30 seconds. When it comes to finger flicks, you want to make sure that you have tight fingers and you're pressing your fingers out. This is really the only finger exercise you're going to do before you get on the wall. So you really want to take time to do this one well and do them slowly and very controlled. Next, you can do some torso circles to get your spine moving. Oftentimes we jump on the wall and get to a very funky position that we weren't ready for because we didn't do torso rotations. Then we're gonna hop on a bar and do some scat pulls. So you're basically just gonna go from a dead hang position with your arms fully disengaged, and you are going to engage your shoulders by just pulling them into place. You're not doing a pull-up, you're not bending your arms, you're just moving your shoulders up into an engaged position. After that, we're gonna do 10 to 15 good old-fashioned push-ups. I like to do military press push-ups, so you have your elbows at your sides and you're almost doing a tricep push-up. Then we're gonna go back to our joint rotations and we're gonna do some ankle rotations. Very, very important because spraining your ankle is one of the most common injuries in climbing. So just doing a few ankle circles will help alleviate that. Next, we're moving into a variation of the squat where you're actually gonna grab your ankles and do your squats from there. I like to go into this position because again, in climbing, we often find ourselves in very weird and strange positions. Doing them in your warm-up helps get you ready for that. Next, we're heading into the shoulder injury prevention with ins and outs. So this is ins, you can see my elbow is close to my hip and I'm bringing my resistance band in towards my midline. For outs, you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna move the resistance band out. So you're gonna keep the resistance on one side and you're gonna keep your elbow close to your side and bring that resistance band out. Next, for shoulder stability and mobility is what I like to call ups. We're going to do basically the same thing, but we're gonna be lifting the resistance band up, keeping our arm at a 90-degree angle and rotating the shoulder. Next, for anyone who's ever experienced golfer's elbow or anyone who does not ever want to experience a golfer's elbow, we've got this extensor exercise. You're just gonna grab a fairly light dumbbell or a resistance band and you're gonna lift it up. This is gonna work your extensors on top of your forearm and make sure you don't develop golfer's elbow. Now that we've warmed up your muscle, we're gonna do a little bit of dynamic stretching. So you're gonna get into a squat position and you're gonna open up your hips by pressing one knee out at a time. If you're feeling flexible, you can try to push both of them at the exact same time, and you'll wanna step in and out of this when you're doing it. So you'll wanna stand up out of the squat and then back down so that we're not doing a static stretch. Next, we're gonna dynamically stretch our hamstrings by getting into a comfortable seated position with your legs out, and you're going to gently lean forward and back to the sitting position. Again, you'll want to get out of this position every once in a while and then back into it. After that, you can get into a butterfly position and do the exact same thing, and this will get your knees involved as well as your hips. Next, it's time to hop on the wall. I like to keep my sweater on when I start my on-the-wall warm-ups and get that warm-up ball rolling a little bit faster as well. I begin all my climbing sessions with a light, gentle traverse. I like to use any down climb jugs you might see on the wall or jugs. If I encounter kind of a section that's a little bit too hard to traverse through, I'll just jump right off. I like to feel a little bit of a pump when I'm doing this. Next, you're gonna get on some easier climbs. and you're gonna climb up and back down. So I like to climb not quite the lowest grade, but something slightly overhanging, pretty juggy though, and you're just gonna go up and down, and you're gonna do this for 2, 3, even 4 climbs. And you're gonna gradually get them a little harder until you reach a grade where you can't quite down climb it. When I'm down climbing, I also like to use whatever holds I need to, especially when the grade starts getting a little harder, because again, it's not about sending in your warm up, it's just about getting warm. After I've done some easy things on the wall, I like to test to see how warm I am by doing a quick, gentle hang. For me personally, I can always tell when I'm not warm when I hang on a hangboard and I'm a little bit shaky. So you can see here my hand is visibly shaking while I'm on this hangboard, so I am not ready. And of course I don't expect to be ready. Now about a quarter of the way through, I like to take my shoes off and just sit for a second and let the warmth really course through my body. You'll find sometimes that when you get off of a break, you feel a little bit warmer at the end of it. After this, we're gonna start getting into more specific and difficult moves. So I start with a bit of a dyno and get my dynamic strength going. Then I'll do some toe hooks and heel hooks on the wall. And these toe hooks could be part of a boulder, or you could just make them up and just throw your toe hooks and heel hooks on places where they really shouldn't be. But you just wanna practice getting that hamstring engaged and the toe hook muscle going. I even go so far as to actually train my toe hooks and heel hooks while I'm warming up. And I credit a lot of my success with toe hooks to my warm up. It's also around this time that you're gonna start doing harder and harder boulders, around 40 to 70% of your max grade. And then again, we are going to take a quick break. So you're gonna do a couple dynamic things, some toe hooks, heel hooks, and then you're gonna take your shoes off and wait another second. Again, I like to keep my sweater on when I'm resting and off as I start getting more intense with my warm-up. After this, we're going to be getting into some more specific climbing holds. So we want to make sure we hit up our pinches and crimps and slopers, and make sure you hit up all these climbing holds with your hands so that you're ready for anything your project or your session has to offer. I also like getting into the cave section as I'm warming up, and I do this fairly early in my warm-up because I find that caves get you warm really fast when you're hanging all your weight off of jugs or crimps. And then we're gonna go back to the hangboard and test to see if we really are warm now. And after everything I've done, I believe I am warm. You can see I'm not shaking nearly as much as I was before. And with that, you will be ready to rock climb.